Hey there folks, Mr. G here with another educational video. This is part 4 of integers, and here we're going to be talking about order of operations. Now some of you might know this better as by a different name, which is BEDMAS. BEDMAS helps us tell what order to do different operations in, order of operations, and this acronym helps us remember what order they come in. So the B here stands for brackets. And what it tells us to do is to simplify inside our brackets if possible. Now this if possible means that if we do all the simplification inside of our brackets, we can get rid of the brackets. And if there's nothing to simplify inside of brackets, we can just get rid of them at the start. Our E stands for exponents, and all we have to do is evaluate the exponents. Now we haven't talked about this just yet. This is going to be coming later, so stay tuned for that. The D and the M stand for division and multiplication. Now we do division and multiplication at the same time, and we go from the left to the right. So it doesn't matter which one it is, whatever's further to the left, that's where we start with, regardless if it's division or multiplication. And then we just move from left to right. Same thing with our A and our S, add, subtract, and we do it in order from left to right. Now if you're curious why it's BEDMAS and not some other order, it's really just the order that mathematicians agreed on, because what we'll see is that if we switch up the order, we can get different answers. And we want to make sure that when we write something down, everyone understands what it means, and we can all get to the same answer. If we can't, it's really hard to communicate using mathematics. If we didn't all agree on what a word meant or what a letter sounded like, it would be really hard to speak or write. This is the same thing for math. So our first example here, we've got -5 minus 15 plus 3. You'll notice that we have brackets, but inside our brackets it's just a -3, so we can't actually simplify anything. So we're just going to leave it as it is. We've got no exponents, no division, no multiplication, so all we can do is add and subtract. And remember, we start from the far left here, so even though subtraction is, adding then subtract, we do them at the same time. So -5 minus 15, that's going to give us -20. Now if you remember, we've got plus a negative, that's the same as a minus sign. So this is the same as -20 minus 3, which is going to be -23. Here's our next example. You'll notice here we've got brackets again, but inside all of these brackets, we don't have anything we can simplify. So we can't start with those. The next thing we could do is exponents, not there. Now we get to division multiplication. Again, we start from the left. We do 3 times -4. Positive times a negative gives us a negative. 3 times 4 gives us 12. And then we're dividing this by -2. Here we've got a negative divided by a negative, that's going to give us a positive. 12 divided by 2 gives us 6, and there's our answer. Here's our next example. We've got 4 plus 1 times 3, no brackets, no exponents. The next step is going to be multiplication. So even though the addition is on the left here, we have to start with multiplication. 1 times 3, that's the same as 3. 4 plus 3 gives us 7. Now I want to show you a different example where this time we're going to put brackets around the 4 plus 1, which is going to cause us to add this first. So you'll notice that when we add these first, instead of multiplying these first, we're going to see that we're going to get a different answer, which is some evidence that BEDMAS, the order of operations, is important. It's important that you divide, multiply, add, and subtract in the right order. If we start with 4 plus 1, as in this example with the brackets, we would get 5 times 3. 5 times 3 gives us 15. And you'll notice, when we start with this adding, even though we have all of the same numbers, we get 15. If we do it in BEDMAS order without the brackets, we get 7. So you got to make sure that you're doing things in the right order, or you're going to end up with the wrong answers. All right, now time for a hard one. This looks like a lot. And you'll notice we've got this big dividing line right in the middle. So remember, when we have this is like a fraction line. This means that we're dividing. But when we have a big line like this, and we've got all this complicated stuff on the top and the bottom, what this really means is that there are brackets around this top and the bottom here. So we need to simplify everything on the top and everything on the bottom before we do the division. So if you want to draw in these brackets for yourself, when we have this big dividing line, that's what it means. We have to simplify the whole top and the whole bottom first. If we look inside of our brackets, we do have another set of brackets here. Unfortunately, -6 inside this brackets we can't simplify. So we're going to start with multiplication. because we have no exponents. 3 times 8, that's going to give us 24. And then we've got brackets on the bottom as well. Negative 2 times positive 3. Negative times a positive gives us a negative. 2 times 3 gives us 6. So the bottom brackets are fully simplified. We still need to work on the top here. Notice that we've got double negatives. Negative times a negative gives us a positive. So this is really the same as 24 plus 6. 24 plus 6 gives us 30, and we've got a negative 6 on the bottom. And now we can get rid of these brackets because the top and the bottom are fully simplified, and we can finish off our question by dividing. 30 divided by 6 gives us 5. We've got a positive on the top, negative on the bottom, so our answer is negative 5. Deep breath there. That was quite the question. Definitely a tough one. Let's finish off the video with 2 questions to check your understanding. So pause the video, try both of these out. You're probably going to need an extra piece of paper because these ones aren't easy. All done? All right, let's do this. So looking at our first question, we've got a set of brackets and we can simplify something in these brackets. 1 minus 7, we can simplify that to be negative 6. So those brackets are done. We've got no exponents. Now we're moving to multiplying and dividing. We've got 4 times negative 6. 4 times 6 gives us 24. And a negative times a positive gives us a negative. Now we have 3 minus 24. So we're moving to the left by 24. From 3 is going to give us negative 21 as our final answer. All right, what about this second one? Well, notice we've got this big dividing line, which means that the top and the bottom are effectively in brackets. We have to simplify those two first before we do this division. So looking at our 2 brackets, we've got multiplication in this bottom bracket for negative 4 times positive 3. Negative 4 times positive 3, our answer is going to be a negative. 4 times 3 gives us 12. And now we can do our subtraction. 4 minus 20 is going to be negative 16. 8 minus 12 is going to be negative 4. Our brackets are fully simplified. Negative 16 over negative 4. We've got a negative over negative positive. 16 divided by 4 is equal to 4. If you didn't get both of these right, take another look at the video, watch it again, and see if you can try these questions and get them right. That's the end of our last video on integers. Next one, we're going to be looking at some basic fraction operations, and I'll see you all in that video.